Mushu. Awakening.
Like a damn zombie, you have come back from the dead. The Pac-12, aka the Pac-2 of just Oregon State and Wazoo, are set to expand to 6 teams in 2026, as Colorado State, Boise State, Fresno State, and San Diego State are going to join the rebuilding conference, and from a business perspective, it happened in the most diabolical of ways. Do y'all remember how we got here? Years and years of stagnant management by Pac-12 conference ownership resulted in USC and UCLA announcing they were leaving at the end of the current media rights deal. The Pac-12 then tried desperately to get a media rights deal in place that would keep the remaining 10 teams in the Pac-12 while looking for possible expansion targets to fill back out to 12 teams. But the major networks had already committed billions of dollars to the Big Ten, SEC, and the resurgent Big 12. Of all the things they thought, Apple TV was apparently the way forward for them. And after being told it was going to be worth far less than what other conferences were getting paid, Oregon and Washington would hitch their wagons to the Big Ten. Utah, Colorado, and Arizona moved to the Big 12, while Cal and Stanford shuffled to the ACC with tails between their legs, leaving just Wazoo and Oregon State abandoned and seemingly left to fade into obscurity. The Pac-12 went from being near the top of college football's food chain as a power conference into a half-assed alliance that's lower than Conference USA. So what do? They begged and pleaded for everybody to help them, of course. Oh, please, sir, save our 180-year history. Save the tradition of the Pacific Coast football. We don't have anyone to play with. We will pay you millions of dollars to play games against you. And sure enough, the Mountain West bit on that hook like a fish. And they agreed to work Wazoo and the Beavs into their non-conference schedule, saving their asses for at least 2024, and the Mountain West getting paid tens of millions of dollars in the process. So, how did the new Pac-2 return the favor? They took advantage of the generosity of the Mountain West and betrayed them. They went from a worm on a hook into a parasite and sucked away 4 of the best schools from right under the Mountain West's nose. How is this possible, you say? Say it with me, folks. Money talks, bullshit walks. The ace in the hole for the Pac-12 was a $250 million war chest that was awarded to them after the multiple payouts in court by the NCAA and the teams that left the Pac-12 hanging after last year, especially once they were able to retain all of the rights to the Pac-12 conference. It is estimated that the payout for the 4 programs from the Mountain West could be well over $100 million, but that's barely half of their resources that they have available. For better or worse, the Pac-12 just doesn't care. They got money to burn, and they ain't done expanding yet. Per NCAA rules, they need to have at least 8 teams in the conference by July 2026, or the conference will be dissolved. But with only 2 more teams left that they need to find, they can take their sweet old time sniping 2 teams that are eager to join. But why only 2? Why not another 4? Or hell, why not 8? Insanity? You bet. But Wazoo and the Beavers were given hundreds of millions of dollars, and they are poised to unleash every single cent on college football to rebuild their conference. If I was them, I'm going back to Cal and Stanford and asking them if they've had enough with all the damn traveling. They have the funding left over to buy them back from the ACC and then some. It would bring back some familiar Pac-12 faces, reinforcing the image of the conference, and save those 2 schools a fuck ton of money, not to mention a good bit of academic legitimacy. It's also no secret that the ACC is rumored to be a ticking time bomb with a media rights deal that has aged about as bad as a gallon of milk 3 years after it expired. Florida State and Clemson are begging to be free to go elsewhere, along with Miami, and several others are exploring the possibility. It's not tenable, and there simply isn't enough money in their current deal to sustain them long term. However, if Cal and Stanford decide they'd rather go broke paying for airline bills, you could see if some West Coast powers from FCS like Sacramento State could be picked up. Maybe Idaho makes a return to FBS. I mean, that's a massive old rival with Wazoo. I doubt they get any big names from power conferences, but they could at least go and grab the best of the rest and make it into a rising power. Now, here's the ultimate question. What about the Mountain West? Well, this may be the best opportunity for 4 schools to make the long-awaited jump to FBS. Montana, Montana State, South Dakota State, and North Dakota State. From a geography perspective, it is the perfect fit, not to mention in terms of talent, these 4 schools are always somewhere among the top in FCS. As we've seen with Jacksonville State and James Madison, it is very possible for new FBS programs to come out of the 2-year transition period in a much stronger state than when they entered it. Hell, Jax State became the first team to ever win a bowl game in its first FBS season last year. James Madison went 19-5 with a bowl appearance during their transition, and they would have won the Sun Belt last year if it wasn't for the restrictions on postseason play. Those 2 programs weren't even the top of FCS when they left. It would get major college football into the upper Midwest for the first time ever, and compared to poaching teams from the Big 12 or the ACC, it would save the Mountain West so much goddamn money. Given everything I'm seeing, this could start another major conference realignment period, especially if a major school defects over. More than likely, there is a good chance with this rebirth, the Pac-12 might not only survive, but maybe build back into a strong and stable conference once more. I'm not saying they become a major power conference again, but they could definitely get to the top of the new group of 6. More chaos is certain to come from this. Let's see what happens from here. Anybody got some popcorn?